Hello, hello, and welcome. I'm excited to be back here live again. I was in Facebook jail. Did you know that? All right. So I just jumped on here for a few moments. I have gotten so many downloads and coming on here without a stitch of makeup. Just me and my 50-year-old face here. Hi, Brian. Nice to see you. I just wanted to come on and speak for a few moments about this big thing that we have coming up, this big conjunction that we have coming up. Hello, everyone. Hello, welcome. I I'm sure everyone's been feeling the energies a little bit. I'm sure everybody has been in the feels. It's enough that we have been trapped or fighting or whatever for the last however many months. So I really kind of want to address this a little bit. I want to address the shift that's coming, the change that's coming. I want to talk about this concept of reality and reality splitting and how things are now and how things are going to look. Hi, Tracy. Hi, Limery. So I want to make sure that everyone understands, and people are going to be joining, but y'all, I don't want to fight with anyone. Like, if you have a different version of reality that you believe, then please, by all means, don't feel like I'm coming at you. I'm not coming at you. Hi, Tristan. I'm not coming at you. I promise, no matter what I say. Anything that gives us a strong reaction is a place in us that needs healing. So if you feel like I'm coming for you, please look at yourself for a moment, because I'm not trying to come at anyone. Okay. With that out of the way, all the new people will just have to deal with that. Okay, so this is what I want to speak about, is this two versions of reality that we're currently living in. And no matter where you are in the world, it's really emphasized here in the States. I'm not sure how it is in other countries. My friend in Canada says that it's up there as well. We have this split in reality. And everyone has lost friends, lost family members, not just to a disease that either exists or doesn't exist based on which version of reality you are in, but also because of people's opinions, because friendships are lost and family relationships have been lost because some people believe this version of reality over here, and some people believe this version of reality over here. And each side looks at the other side and says, I can't believe you believe that. I've known you for 20 years. How can you support this? How can you support those people? Okay. We know it has been contentious for the past however long that it has been, months and months and months and months, right? Now, within all of this energy, we have our spiritual community. And if you're not one of those people in my spiritual community, that's okay. Welcome, Pete. That's okay. You don't have to be in my spiritual community to feel this change, okay? You don't have to be religious or spiritual or woo-woo or none of that stuff to kind of recognize what I'm going to talk about. Because I'm going to get into some quantum physics stuff that, from the eyes of a non-scientist. I am not a scientist. I will preface this by saying I am not a scientist, but I have gotten some interesting downloads on reality, on what's going to happen, on what's going on. Here, let me shift a little bit. All right. So we have these two versions of reality here in our space right now. And it is very, very strange to be living in a world where two different people can believe two diametrically opposed truths and find evidence to support both of their beliefs. I'm 50. And I don't know that there's ever been a time in our world that has looked like this. So it used to be that there was basically one set of quantifiable fact, and people had different opinions about that fact. So if we went conservative and liberal, you would have the conservatives feeling, well, that fact, I believe XYZ about it, but the fact itself was always the same. The quantifiable fact that was always the same, that box is yellow. But a conservative might be wearing glasses that have a tint to them, and they would say, oh no, the box is orange. And the other guy would look at it and say, but I feel this way. I think that we should tax the box. Hi, Christiana, how are you? But now we don't have two different versions looking at the same box. We literally have two people looking at this space on the floor, and one sees a box and one doesn't. And one says, there is no box. What are you talking about? It's not a box, it's an apple. So we're not arguing over different opinions on reality. We're arguing my reality is true and your reality is false. No, my reality is true and your reality is false. We're arguing about two different versions of reality, which is why it gets so incredibly convoluted and confused when we try to have a conversation about it, because people are working off of two different sets of facts. People are working off of two different versions of reality. Now, this seems like the craziest thing that we could possibly imagine. That people are in these two different spaces of reality, but that's okay. We're gonna get to how this ties into spirituality. I promise. This is not a political talk. I promise. Okay. So these two versions of reality, we have our spiritual community. Now, our spiritual community, if you're not in it, as I said, it is just a belief that unconditional love is the energy of the universe. That whatever you call God, source, creator, Gaia, call it Fred, it doesn't make a difference what you call it as long as you're seeking it. Whatever you're calling it, that energy is the energy of unconditional love, and that every single one of us carries a piece of that energy within us. We are an expression of that energy. We are an individualized piece of a multiplicity, of a mass consciousness that is God, light, Gaia, Fred. It doesn't matter what you call it. Okay, so our spiritual community all believe that, and yet we are split. I don't know if we're split down the middle. I don't know how many are on one side, how many are on the other. Again, these are my personal experiences. And half of a portion of our community is in a very different energetic space than the other half. Okay? And this is I did not prepare for this, y'all. I had two cats on my lap when the download said you need to go on. So I'm sorry I keep moving around and shifting spaces. But both of the cats got up. So now I'm not stuck in an uncomfortable position. Okay. So in our spiritual community, we are split into these two factions as well. Both believe that they are doing good. Both believe that they are fighting on the side of right. Both believe that they are the ones who are actually the awakened ones and that the other ones are wrong. It has been an interesting several months watching this go on. It has been interesting watching people that I have admired really be angry, like super angry in their broadcasts, like super hateful in their broadcasts, but believing that it's about love. And they look at me and think that I am a stupid sheep, that I'm just not awake enough, that I just don't understand, that one of these days I will see. You better watch out. It's coming for you. Just watch. It has been difficult to watch people who are friends and that we consider family go through these energies. And so it's not just a political thing. It's a spiritual thing. It's an energetic thing. We have watched people who are good Christians advocate for violence. We are seeing people who are good spiritual people who are pacifists advocating or siding with people who commit violence. And we are seeing people on both sides siding with people who commit violence because it seems like violence is rising. But we also do have these two sets of energies, right? So if we connect those two sets of energies, if we now bring that to more of an energetic, like a quantum physics thing, right? Disclaimer, I am not a physicist, okay? So what we're going to discuss is something completely different, completely not scientifically aligned. This is my downloads combined with a little bit of quantum physics, combined with whatever it is that the universe is asking to come through me to y'all, which I am interrupting. They're like, just talk. Quit explaining and just talk. I hear you. Okay. So, currently, we live in a version of this world that has the many worlds theory in quantum physics. Every time we make a choice, we create a new version of ourselves and a new dimension that lives out that choice in that dimension. And we are energetic beings that can actually adjust our frequency to meet each one of these options where they are. And so when they say things like raise your energy, lower your energy, high vibration, low vibration, we're always vibrating at the same rate. It's our human blockage that shifts the frequency, kind of like when you whistle. If you make your mouth bigger, you get a different sound than if you make your mouth smaller. So the way that we structure our thoughts and our wounds affects how the frequency is experienced or is received by the rest of the world, the rest of the universe, and which version of us we end up vibrating with. We end up being, on that path. So that's why they say if you think positive, you're creating your own reality. If you believe it's going to happen, then your frequency matches the outcome where you are getting, a positive outcome on what you're doing. Manifestation. Okay. So you're not drawing something to you. You're being pulled to it by your frequency, by your vibration, by the way that you are expressing your piece of energy, right? Of God, of the light, of whatever. So that theory has all been happening to us all the time. So there are infinite numbers of us, versions of us, living infinite different lifetimes along the same lines as the choices that we make, right? And up until now, this has all been happening. I'm thinking the image that they gave me was like, if you think back to like 6th grade science and you had one cell, and then that one cell got longer and longer and longer, and then it popped into 2 cells, okay? So we have been, up until now, having these experiences with these multiple dimensions, multiple, truths, multiple realities, all time happening all the time in one big bubble, okay? In one space, one cell. What is happening and what we've been in preparation for is that this one cell will split into 2. And all of the different eventualities in this timeline, pop, will play out however they're going to play out. And there's still a version of us here, okay? There's still a version of us, just like when I pop into, the version of me that is a millionaire. Like, I don't actually experience that. The me that is here chatting with you is not actually experiencing that in a conscious way at this moment. Now that version of me is, and maybe they're over there talking about me over here, right? That's very complicated. Let's pull it back in. So, but all of that was happening in one cell. And this great awakening, this polarity that has been getting wider and wider, has been in preparation for this pop, for this cell division, for this shift, this great awakening, where we will pop into a new version of reality. So a new bubble is going to be made from the old bubble. A new cell pops off. And those of us who are embracing unconditional love, who are understanding forgiveness, even to those who do the worst things on the planet, who are willing to forgive those who kill, those who maim, those who blow up. When we are willing to forgive evil, understand the empathy behind someone who does that, okay? Those of us who are choosing this side, or at least trying to, making a concerted effort to really trying to be kind, to be empathetic, to be understanding, to recognize the connection between all of us. Those consciousnesses, like the one, the I, will pop into this new version of Earth. So all of those who have that will go into it. Those who do not, so people, I did this video and I put it on TikTok, like just a little short 15-second one about reality splitting, and I got a lot of questions, and a lot of people were not understanding and thinking like, I'm going to wake up in a weird house and I'm not going to know where I am, and none of my friends are going to be around, and I'm going to be all alone. Like, it's a completely different thing. You will still be you, but this new version of reality is going to support the energy of unconditional love in a different way. Okay? And the way that I'm understanding it is that the consciousness of those who believe that they are right, willing to use anger or embracing that angry kind of a message, and not forgiving and not understanding that we're all a piece of God, or not embracing that, their consciousness will stay in the regular version of the world that we live in right now. Okay? Like, their one will stay in this version of it. And there will still be a version of you in this world also. Okay? But a version of you is going to pop into this new empty cell, where we will be the first iteration of the new many worlds theory. Okay, so if we think of the world that we are in now, this one cell that we are all sharing, this one cell has got branches and lines and squiggles of reality layered on top of each other. And it has been layering on top of each other for, I don't know, since the last pop. I don't know when that happened, but for thousands of years, our versions of reality and all time has been layering around each other. And now, we're going to split, pop like cell division. And those of us who are connected with the unconditional love, our consciousness will go into the version of the world that starts the new iteration, that starts the new many world theory. We will be the roots, the first new version of reality in that bubble. And things will still play out in this one that we're doing over here, like I said, but our knowing is going to be moving into a world that is going to be built without all of the past heavy energy. Heavy, I don't like to use that term, but without all of the baggage that comes from the past, because all there is now, right? So it doesn't have all of the baggage of the many, 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 many layers. We are literally creating something that energetically will be completely different. I almost feel like if we look at this as an experiment, or as like a science experiment, or like we're cooking something, right? So in the old world, we kept adding ingredients, right? Layers of versions of reality, until we got to this like tipping point. And like, we're making soup and we got a million different things in there. And by the time we get to the top of it, we're like, okay, well, now what? Now all the soup is in there doing its thing. Well, this is not what I wanted it to be. Like, it's not terrible, and it can still be soup for someone, but I was trying to make bisque, and that is not bisque. So let me bring the things that create bisque: unconditional love, forgiveness, empathy, compromise, understanding, respect, empathy. Let me bring those ingredients and those people, those ingredients were the people, were the ingredients, over and start a new soup. And start a new soup. And it's going to look like the old soup. It's going to be all put together in there and blah, blah, blah. But it's going to be different. See, because I didn't put all that. I put too much pepper in this one, or I put a lot of, crunchy things in there, or maybe it was a lot of onions. I'm not an onion fan. In the new soup, in the new version, we're going to start with a better base. I'm not just going to throw in all the leftovers to make the soup. Now, leftover soup is delicious, but you can make brand new soup with a super high-end roux, with the best butter. Like, if you could start with the best ingredients when you start your next bowl of soup, because you want bisque, you're going to do that. So some of the questions that I had was, in this new world, are my friends going to be there? Are they not going to be there? In my understanding, new oil, no oil in the new soup. That's right. Because I am eating mostly, I call it vegan-esque, without oil and without added sugars. That's what I'm doing right now for my energy, for my energy. It's not doing much for my exterior body, but it's great for my energy. Okay. So in this new world, we are going to be the first iteration of us. And as I said in this video, I got questions from people like, are my friends not going to be there? Are they not going to? There will be a version of them in this new world. But it won't be the conscious version that we knew in the old world. So they won't have because we're thinking about the friends that are not vibrating or aligning with unconditional love. They won't have the same bite that they did in the old world, and they'll be more susceptible to the energies of the new world, because the people who are consciously working on energy will be those who are more in the frequency of unconditional love. And so that changes the frequency of the entire bubble, right? So if we have brought over people, the conscious ones who are in it and recognizing it, they will be able to raise or to broadcast their frequency, because I talk about all the time how we broadcast our frequencies and we can affect the people around us just by the way that we're thinking. So we will be able to shift things in a very different way, in a more strong way in this new bubble, because we're not in competition with any energies that don't have our best intentions at heart, or the more angry stuff, or the lack of love. Okay? So it's not that they won't be there, but there's a term in video games called non-playable characters. And I don't know if you've ever heard about this. And if we think about it, if you've seen The Matrix, I guess I'm aging myself with that too, because that came out like 20-something years ago. But if you have seen The Matrix, is this thing where they put Neo into the Matrix and they have him walk around, and one of the people, they're all like completely ignoring them no matter what they do. Those are non-playable characters. So even though you can interact with a non-playable character in a game, like a shop owner, you can walk up to the shop owner, you can talk to them, you can interact with them, but they are not necessarily controlled by a consciousness like this, like we are. It'll be a little bit different, but not really. It just won't be the same consciousness that you dealt with over there. So if we take this into another, like a movie setting, because I mean, that's what people understand is, I've seen movies where people go back in time and they find the same version of go back in time, and they find the same version of themselves, but it's a little bit different. It's having different experiences, that sort of a thing. So we're basically stepping into a different version, and the people around us that come over are a different version. They're not the ones who are consciously choosing to be angry from this reality. It's a different version of your parent, friend, colleague who isn't one of the ones that chose anger. Now they didn't share the exact same consciousness as you did, like in that experience, but they still know you, love you, are connected to you, are a piece of you, because this is all us experiencing ourselves, right? Technically, this is all, if we use the one observer theory, things only happen because the existence happens because we observe it. So there has to be an observer. And it's not because there's millions of observers, it's because there's one observer. The one observer is God, the light, Gaia, Fred, that one energy, that one frequency that all of us share, that is the observer. And we are all we exist because they watch us. We exist because they see. We exist because they express. Hi, Mama Bear. Anyway, so I just want to talk for a moment about that split that is coming, that is popping, and how important it is. My friend Brana did a broadcast on the Great Conjunction. If you guys are interested, I was going to do like a reaction video to it and kind of pause it and talk about things that she talks about. If you're interested in that, let me know. I will do it this weekend before the pop happens. If not, it's no big deal. You can go to her page and watch it. I will make sure that I put somewhere here in the comments or in the title the link to her little video about it. She is a astrologist and astronomist, so she has a lot of knowledge about this, and she speaks from a very technical point of view. She also does all the Schumann resonance stuff and all that, so y'all should be following her anyways. I don't know why you're not. Okay. That's neither here nor there. So I just want to come on and chat about that for just a moment. It's really important that we do something consciously. It is a conscious choice to choose forgiveness, to choose love, and to choose unconditional love. Again, forgiveness doesn't mean that you're okay with what that person did. But you have to forgive them for doing it. You have to forgive and understand and have empathy, no matter what they've done. That is the choice that we are making, to be split into the two worlds, the too many worlds, into the two selves. It must be a conscious choice. It must be a conscious choice to be trying, not to be finished, but to believe that that's a real thing. To believe in the energy of unconditional love, and that is the overriding energy that we need to be focused on, that we are all connected. And if somebody is out there messing up, screwing up, doing horrible things, doing terrible things, hurting people, that they need to be pulled back in, that they can be saved, that they can be loved, that they can be shown, that they can transform, that they can recognize that they are a piece of God. And even if they don't, we have to believe that it's possible that they can, because they are. And just our belief in that changes things. But if there is someone who has done something terrible, horrible, heinous, the worst thing you could possibly imagine, and you think that person should die for doing that, that person doesn't deserve to live, I will never forgive that person for doing that. If you brought that person in front of me, I would bash their head in. I would shoot them between the eyes. If that's the energy that you are bringing to your crusade, to your mission, to what you believe is your good cause, you might want to rethink things a little bit, just a little bit. Because even though you feel like you are the hand of justice, that's not God. That's not the light. That's not the energy of unconditional love. And there is only that. And it is humans that create everything else. So if that one truth is unconditional love, then how do you align that with your desire to punch someone in the face, with your desire to kill child abusers, with your desire to drag someone? How do you reconcile those two things? You don't. You let go of that. And it may not be instant, but you can make the choice to believe, I need to learn how to forgive these people. I need to learn how to understand this. I need to learn how to have empathy and recognize this. You just might want to think just a little bit. So that was pretty much all I wanted to talk about. I've probably been on here a little bit too long, but I just wanted to really address this split, address this pop. And again, this is just my understanding. This is the download that the universe gives to me by putting particular information in front of me, by, just putting the images, putting the words in my head, allowing it to come out however it comes out, and channeling this, whatever it is that I'm channeling. I don't like to put a label on it. I haven't been live in a minute, and I was allowing my human to stop me because of my neurological thing, because of my speech impediments, because of the problems that I've been having speaking lately. Things are getting scrambled. The message wants to come through, though. And it doesn't care that my human is embarrassed. It doesn't care that my human is embarrassed about slurring words and my accent. So, so now that I'm out of Facebook jail and I can go live again, I'm just going to pick up the camera and go live at any time. For those of you who have stuck around this long, I have some big stuff coming. I have been working, y'all. I've been working. So starting next month, I will have a Patreon. On this Patreon, we are going to do a 12-month journey called Navigating Your Awakening from Self-Doubt to Self-Worth. I'm on the journey with y'all, and we're going to talk about this stuff. So it is going to be a book and a course, and every month will be a different topic. I haven't decided yet how much the Patreon is going to be. If you want to join me, you are welcome to. If you just want to hang out with me here, you are welcome to. We will be talking about some of the same topics, but not all of the topics. We will not be digging into every little bit of it. I know, right? Mama Bear, I was in Facebook jail. And I'm going to be releasing it as a book, and I'm going to be releasing it separately as a course. And each month is going to be a different stop on the journey. And we are going to dig into loving yourself unconditionally. We are going to dig into forgiveness. We are going to dig into finding your purpose. We are going to dig into anger. We are going to dig into processing relationships, figuring out how to step into that space of non-judgment. It's going to be a deep dive, self-focus, self-awareness extravaganza, eleganza extravaganza we're going to have here. And I'm excited about it. I'm very excited. I have never stepped into the realm of Patreon before, but it will allow for a closer connection and a different experience in this space, in this new awakening. And I'm super excited. We'll see what happens. I'm also going to be giving away some memberships and allowing early access to things. I think in January, if you join in January I'm going to do January free, and then the monthly payments would start after that. And like I said, I haven't figured out how much, not very much. And so those of you who are interested in jumping in and experiencing a month for free, please reach out to me and let me know. I'll make sure I put you on the list to get the coupon code or to figure it out. I'm not quite sure how it's going to go, but we're going to figure it out. I'm getting it there. I know December's almost done and we're almost in January, but it's all going to come together because I am focused on this. Self-focused, right? All right, you guys, don't take this so seriously. Here's what I want you to do heading into this solstice conjunction. We have two different planets, right? Saturn, Jupiter aligning. One stands for everything has to be precise and lined up and organized in a very exact way, and this is the way it all fits together. And the other one is kind of like, oh, let's just wing it. These are the two energies that are coming together in this conjunction. So you're going to feel stretched in two different directions. It's okay. What I want you to do through all of it, choose self-love. Visualize what you want your life to look like. And I don't necessarily mean materially. I mean energetically. I mean in your relationships, in your families. Just kind of like that energy you want to carry, right? Just focus on that. Just hang out with that energy a little bit. Just kind of see it in your head without expectation, without judgment, without needing it to come true, without making it a goal or a manifestation. Just kind of live in that energy of what the world would look like if we cared about each other, if we fed hungry people with the multitude of wealth and resources that we have in this world. I read something the other day that said something like 500 billion would feed it would like end world hunger. Just 100% end world hunger. And there are people on this planet who could give $500 billion in cash and really not be any less rich. And they choose not to. Imagine if that was an energy that just didn't exist. If there just wasn't hunger, if there just, if we tried to get along, if there just wasn't war over territories, if we all just agreed, this is my side and that's your side, and, We'll share this part in the middle. It'll be like the common living room area, you know? Like, just kind of think about these energies. I don't want you to focus on the anger that's going on in the world. I don't want you to focus for the next couple of days between now and the, we'll say the 22nd, 23rd. I don't want you to focus on the vitriol and the violence that's happening. I don't want you to focus on those things. Yes, they're still happening. But what I want you to do is, if you see something about something like that, imagine if the opposite happened. Imagine that it wasn't someone, getting shot. Instead, imagine that that worked out great and there was no issue because of their skin color. If you see something about people dying, with COVID, imagine a world where everyone is wearing their masks and taking care of each other, and we're able to shut everything down so that for a few weeks we can all have a little bit of cash in our pocket. We can all take care of our bills. Nobody has to worry. We can all just focus on staying in our own little houses just long enough to get all of the people who have it treated, quarantined, so they don't spread it. Imagine that we were all considerate of each other. Imagine this. This is what we need to focus on. This is what I want you to focus on. Imagine if, when you saw a story about someone killing their kids, this is terrible, that you, rather than being angry, were able to just kind of say, wow, that person must have been in so much pain to do that, because they love their kids. How fucked up do you have to be in the head to go through that? That is horrible. Like, even just thinking about it, I'm getting teared up, but that's the energy that will help that to not happen, because people won't have to hold in that kind of hell. Or at the very least, have empathy for it. For the next couple of days, this is what I want you to do. I want you to rewrite those scripts. I want you to rewrite what you're seeing with your eyes. I want you to focus on that visualization of a utopia, of the world being beautiful, of kindness, of all the best things. All the best things. Because this world is beautiful and Earth is wonderful, and there's so much amazing love and connection and empathy, and there's so much amazing about this Earth, and that's what we're going to take with us. And that's the energy that I want you to take with you as we go into this next space. And let me tell you something, okay? Now, this is all from my own downloads. All of this stuff, there are people who go, you are nuts. Like I said, I posted this on TikTok. I got, where do you people come from? What the hell are you talking about, bro? But even if none of this is true, let's imagine for a second that all of our downloads are just garbage. They don't mean anything. It's just me being a crazy chick, which I am definitely a crazy, crazy cat lady. But imagine that we were all focusing on these good things, on this alternative version of reality, that we were all focusing on eradicating world hunger and the climate clearing up and doing things as a country, as a nation, as a world to improve the situation, to improve the Earth, to save the Earth. Imagine if thousands of us were just focusing on that, just that, for the next couple of days as we go into this conjunction. You think we can shift the energy? You think focusing on that will change reality, change the version of reality that we're in? Boy, I hope so. Boy, I hope so. All right, you guys, I'm definitely going to get off now. Oh, you got my little SpongeBob back there hanging in the thing. I love you guys. I'm grateful to be back on here live. I'm going to ignore my neurological stuff as much as possible and just come on here and talk, because I guess when the message needs to come through, it needs to come through, and I need to stop stopping myself. Stop stopping myself. That doesn't sound right. I love you guys. Please stay safe, stay in love, unconditional love. Connect to it as much as you can. Turn to it as much as you can. Ask for help, ask for guidance over the next couple of days. Every time that you feel yourself flipping spinning, spiraling, because we're going to be pulled in both directions. Try to stay focused on that unconditional love and that connection with the light, and you'll be good. It'll all be good. I love you guys. Bye.